It is time we talk about the Prydwen updated tier list for Elec, Boom and Show, where she's on the tier list, pros, cons, build recommendations, and everything else. As usual, before we start, hello nerds, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict, and today's topic is going to be everyone's favorite thick girl, Elec. My god, she looks good, bro. So, couple things. Prydwen recently did an update for the tier list. With this update, I'm pretty sure they did rework a lot of the rankings. I haven't seen them yet, but I want to check what's going on. And finally, they decided to remove low deficit, or not. I'm just saying, just remove low deficit. We don't like it. Okay, it's over. It's fucking over. Low deficit is still here. Alright, it is what it is. Let's go over my personal favorite tier list for most of the stuff, which is gonna be bossing. At the end of the day, Nikke is a bossing game. Campaign, you can clear with most stuff. And then high deficit, when you are pushing hard mode, if you really care about tryharding, most people do not check tier list in that regard. They actually try to understand the game by themselves. Still, that's it. Let's go over bossing, which is, I think, my favorite one from the ones they have. And let's see where they have put the new ratings and where are the separators, what's meta, what's like good, what's like useless, etc. Right? So, also before I forget, leave a like, subscribe, help me grow the channel. And as we can see, we have SSS, SSS, and A as meta. So all 4 categories are meta. Okay. Then we have B as best replacement and situational. And then you have basically everything else, I assume, right? Yes, everything else. There is no other tags for those characters. A couple of things that I will say. I feel meta is too big, too broad, right? Like I would maybe move meta to S, keeping all of the SS, SSS, and SSS. So many fucking S's, bro. I would keep that as meta, and then like A as like the best replacement situationals, because a lot of the characters here are not really meta, right? You're not using Toro as a meta character. I think she's a good character, don't get me wrong. Fantastic unit, but not a meta. So in that regard, I'm surprised 4 categories have the meta, and then only 1 has the best replacement, and then there is nothing else. That said, also interesting to see Elec on A. So she has a, oh, okay, that's kind of low, no? B, C, A, C, okay? Where is Ice Maiden? She's on S, and she is A, B, S, and SS for PvP. PvP, I don't care, okay? I'm not gonna be talking about PvP because I don't understand the game mode. I don't understand how PvP works. So anything I say is gonna be just bad advice. That regard, I ignore it. I'm surprised to see that they are not together on the same tier, considering they are basically the same character, right? It's literally the same character, the same situation. So I'm surprised to see that they're not on the same tier. But that said, let's actually go and check the review, the investment tips, and everything else. When it comes to the full review, I love you, Prydwen, okay? Thank you for giving me a job. I'm not reading all of this. Let's go over the pros and the cons. That is the important part. One of the best water supporters that require cheap investment to work. You can basically just go skill 1 and skill 2, ignore the burst. I would still recommend getting burst to 7 just to do that big nuke at the end of the match, but it's not mandatory, and you don't even need to be doing it in order to get good damage, right? She will work already just with skill 1 and 2, thanks to this damage as a strong element, because you will have always more than 4 ghosts, right? So pretty good. Compared to other supporters for water, she has way higher damage output if well invested, which can push team damage to another level, just like Siren. Is there any other water supporters? Like, do we have any other characters that are actually buffing elemental damage in water? Because the only thing I can think of is Alice for the stack count, not really anything else. It's Summer Mary, I believe. She's also buffing elemental damage. Is there anything else? Maids are general supports. Rem is a rocket launcher support. I don't think there's anything else in terms of like water support. I will say this is our first proper elemental support for water. I'm not sure if I am missing one or not though. A decent wipe which works well, extremely well against bosses with ads. Think of Harvester as an example. The best part about her wipe is that you don't even need to burst in order to take advantage of it. You need to have 13 ghosts, so max capacity, so you can be proccing every 6 seconds this skill 2, dealing 950 of final attack as damage to all enemies. That is a really good wipe, and you don't even need to be bursting. So you have a good clear screen consistently every 6 seconds just by having Elec on the team. Doesn't occupy a burst slot since she is ideally used off burst. I don't even think it's worth bringing her to burst because you're losing all of her elemental buffs, which then makes no sense, right? You either burst once at the end of the battle, you could be bursting twice per battle, but the increase in damage is not worth it because you're losing your buff as well. I will say just burst once, nothing else. She can close the fight with a very juicy burst, probably better than anything if the fight is 3 seconds left. This is really hard to time and it depends on your team composition. Like how long do you have left on your last burst? To me, a lot of the times on a normal team, it's gonna be 10-12 seconds. I still burst with her, even if I'm losing some of those buffs for the last, 10 seconds, whatever it is. Which is, it is what it is. You still get really good damage. Her MLB has fits. Actually, based. Actually, based. Absolutely, best MLB that we've gotten in a while. That said, on the pros, let's talk about the cons and see what they are finding bad on Elec. We said she worked with cheap investment, but that's only her baseline. You still need proper investment to build her damage and make her a better choice than other outside raids. I don't even think we'll see her outside of raids. I do, however, think it's cheap, because when we talk about raid characters, this is not a character you need to be going, let's say, 10-10-1, and then get really good lines on her gear, get more damage, just so you can use her. Just her skill 1 and her skill 2 are enough to bring her into raids because of the damage strong element. That is already enough. It's also allowing you for more flexible team compositions, because now you have an off burst that's buffing every other water character, and you don't even need to worry about her doll or even what line she's getting. Of course, if you get elemental attack and max ammo, it's better, but it's not mandatory. I think she's like a medium priority, low priority to overload, right? Her output is terrible if you compare her to meta DPSs. Absolutely, she's gonna be always a sub DPS, a support character, a hybrid support, right? She's not really a main DPS and hyper carry. Because it's terrible, even with high investment, for early lines, for attack lines, she still deals mid damage and won't be used outside of water. Yeah, she will never be used outside of water, but again, just like Maiden will never be used outside of Electro or, of course, PvP. I don't talk about PvP. I don't think you need to be going high investment. This is a support character. I don't think we should be considering her like an hyper carry, because she's not one, right? It's like mana. You don't consider mana a main DPS. Mana is there to buff characters, to be giving that charge speed, and to giving the heals and the revive, right? Characters like that. Still, fantastic unit in my opinion. Bad potential as inverse alternate B3. Yeah, you lose a lot of damage. It's not even worth it. We were testing about actually using her as like a normal B3 every other rotation, and it just sucks. Seasonal limited, which is sad. It is. Don't worry, we're gonna be getting more 1% from now on. If you think 1 ghost per 6 seconds is bad, wait until you put Elec on a low rate of fire team and she reloads right after the next interval happens. That's actually a fair point, because when she can capture a ghost, you still need to do a hit count of 100 bullets. So if you're on a team with rocket launchers and snipers, you're fucked, right? You are fucked. Nowadays, most of the meta characters are machine guns that we are getting, so there is not issues with this. There is plenty of machine guns or even SMGs to put on the team. And if we talk about water, plenty of supports and DPSs that are machine gun as well, or SMGs. I don't think it's a big issue for water. And something is probably wrong with her, since Commander rejected her twice. Did Commander reject her twice, guys? I skipped the story, so I haven't seen that. Did Commander reject this twice? Another reason to not read the story. Let's check the investment, see what they're recommending. 744 on a 10 into a 1077 into a 10-10-10. I would not go 10-10-10. Like, I don't care, because she's not good enough to be worth that much, okay? That is a heavy investment. I would go a top, a 10-7-7, and that's like maybe what I would go. And even a 7-7-7 is more than she deserves. The damage is a strong element at level 10. There is not that huge of an increase to be worth those 3 levels and all of those skill books. Again, if you have a skill books, go for it. I will say it's not really worth it, and it's better to just optimize characters so they work, and then just build the most broken ones, or your waifus, whatever you prefer. That said, they are also recommending 4 LF for attack, 1 ammo, and then passable is just crit with max ammo again. I can agree. Again, I think it's low priority to overload. I don't think you need to worry too much about her. Whatever you get, you get. If you get a couple lines of max ammo, it's gonna be fantastic. We got 1 here, and I got, oh, sorry, not you, Brady, here, and we got 1 LA in there. This is awful lines, but it still works fantastic just for the buffs. Again, if you want to be getting attack, because it's going to be benefiting her buffs a lot on a skill 1 and a skill 2 is final attack, but even then, I don't think it's worth the amount of rocks and the RNG we currently have. I'm still rerolling Dorothy, bro. I've been so fucking unlucky. So yeah, my LF will be into maybe I reroll at a later date. And then moving into the cube investment, they are recommending Resilient, Bastion, and Distraction. They've been recommending the Distraction cube a little bit recently. I'm gonna be honest, I just don't like the Distraction cube. I think it's too situational. Now, to be fair, for raids, if the boss has parts, it does work. I just don't think it's worth it as a cube, or bringing that cube into level 13, 14, 15. If your cubes, if your Bastion Resilience are level 14, it's better than just putting a level 7 Distraction. Even on Doro, if you have a low level Pierce cube, it's still better to just run Resilience or Bastion, right? So the amount of investment you need into the destruction cube for it to work, I just don't think it's worth it, but it can be a good option anytime bosses do have parts. That said, I'm pretty sure that is what they are recommending. I assume teams is only going to be water teams because there is nothing else. Okay, there is nothing else. I consider using Good Mommy and Helm. This is one of the teams that I've been using myself. Or Toro if you have good investment into her. Personally, my Toro still is missing attack lines. For Elemental, no attack to try to reroll, and then a Pierce team with Litter instead. I would not put Litter just because of the amount of attack she is given. It's not really that mandatory for Dorothy. Dorothy gets a lot of attack already on her own, so I would just go with something else. But then again, there's plenty of good options. That said, I don't fully agree with the tier list separators having 4 categories as what's considered meta. At the end of the day, tier lists are nothing but a reference. I always say the same thing. I think too many people take tier lists too seriously. Regardless of what tier list it is, Prydwen NIKKE, the best tier list out there, lootandwaifus.com. I think people take them too seriously. It's a reference that you should use to try to understand if a character is good or bad. Check the pros, check the cons, check full reviews when the website have them, aka Prydwen, to see why those characters are good and understand them better. If you read those reviews, you will get to understand the game a lot more on your own, and you can make judgment as to why a character might be up or down on different tier lists. That said, enough japping, that's gonna be it for this one. Surely, hopefully, Shift Up soon bans all of the people here in solo raid with 60 billion damage. A fantastic score. Pretty free to play friendly. All that japping aside though, we are live every single day. Links in the description down below. Good luck with your pool dinner rates, and I'll see you on the next one.